Yes, as mentioned, my name is Todd Sweetser. I'm a technical solution professional here with Microsoft. And I do indeed focus on Office 365 within the Microsoft Online Services portfolio. And I'm going to be talking and demoing Office 365 today. And I'm really going to focus on the user experience within the solution set. I'll be talking about all the different components, of course, Office Pro Plus, including Exchange Online, SharePoint, and Lync Online. I'll talk to them how they work individually, and I'll also talk to them and show how they work well in concert with each other, ultimately to make your user base hopefully more productive and efficient in their workflows. So you should be able to see my desktop at this point. If you don't see it full screen, you can hit F5 in Live Meeting, and it should put it in full screen mode on your desktop. So the first thing I'm going to start off with and really emphasize is the fact Office Professional Plus, as part of this solution, is Office Professional Plus, the rich client that everybody is familiar with. It's merely licensed in a new manner. So you get Outlook, you get Word, you get Excel, you get PowerPoint, everything that Todd talked about installed locally on the desktop. It's really just a matter of the licensing infrastructure that is different. And the first product and component of Office Professional Plus that I'm going to speak to in concert with Office 365 is Outlook, because really this is where people will spend a good amount of their time during the day within the messaging infrastructure of Exchange Online. So this is, by the way, this is Outlook 2010, so everybody understands Outlook 2007. SP2 is also supported with the Office 365 infrastructure. It's probably important to note that you're not required to purchase Office as part of this solution set. It's there as an option in case you're not on a current version, you're many versions back, and you need to get upgraded. It's giving you another way to get onto the more current version and license it in a subscription manner. But if you're already running Office 2010 or Office 2007 SP2, you can indeed use those in concert with Office 365. As I mentioned, though, this particular one is Outlook as part of the suite. And one way you can tell that is if you go into the Backstage area, into the Help section, you'll see that it's part of Office Professional Plus subscription. That's going to be the big difference there. That'll let you know that this particular version is part of the subscription in Office 365 infrastructure. As far as what you get with the email aspect and with the messaging, of course you get your mailbox. You can build as many folders as you want, drag and drop files in and out of them, right-click and move things and manipulate things, all within the Outlook infrastructure in concert with your mailbox in the cloud. 25 gigabytes of space is what you get by default for all of your users, which should be a good amount of space for most folks today.
Todd, are you actually getting emails from Jerry Garcia?
I may be. So, I mean, the mailbox that you get is a 25 gigabyte mailbox for all your users by default. As I said, plenty of space even for those that may not be with us anymore. But you can ratchet that down as an administrator if you need to, so that's important to note as well. And Todd talked about some of the archiving functionality. There's two different levels of archiving available, and archiving being integrated into the Exchange Online infrastructure is new with Office 365. It comes in concert with technology that's part of Exchange 2010, which is what Office 365 is based on in the Exchange area. So what that gives you is an online archive, a cloud-hosted archive that is accessible from Outlook, and as you'll see in a few minutes here, also accessible from Outlook web access via the web view of your email. There's two different levels of archiving, on that Plan 1 that Todd was talking about, or the E1 SKUs. You get an archive that's part of your mailbox, still part of the 25 gigabytes, and it's really designed to be a replacement for that personal archive that many people use with Outlook today, and they have it on their local drive. This way it kind of can use with the idea of moving that hard drive located PST into the cloud and become a personal archive, but in the cloud. Users can drag and drop in and out of them. They can create policies and so on to automate movement of files into those. The next level of archive in the Plan 2 And the E3 SKU, that's an unlimited space archive. That's more of a true compliance type of archive. You can do litigation holds, legal holds on your end users, which will lock down emails that go into that archive so users can't edit them and manipulate them. So those are the two different levels of archive that are available within the solution, all accessible from Outlook or Outlook Web Access. You will note that users do connect directly to Exchange with Outlook. Many users may be used to using Outlook today with POP or IMAP providers, so they're getting their email, but they may not be able to, they may not be taking advantage of the full functionality of Outlook. And one thing that definitely adds value when you're using Outlook in concert with Exchange or in concert with Exchange Server is calendaring and managing time. With the Outlook technology in concert with Exchange, you now can view, of course, your calendar, but you can view colleagues' calendars, and you can even get permissions to manage colleagues' calendars if need be. But being able to see calendars side by side, either one day, an entire work week, and then using overlay technology in Outlook to see the calendars all in line with each other, to be able to easily do that and then schedule times helps save time from your end users. Instead of having them go back and forth with emails to decide on a time that works for everybody, you can quickly and easily schedule times right from the Outlook interface. Another calendaring type of function that is included as part of this solution is the idea of a resource or a conference room calendar. Conference room calendars are actually free with Office 365 and Exchange Online. So if you have one or two conference rooms or even hundreds of conference rooms or any type of resource that needs to be shared via a calendar, based on time, so projectors or any type of device such as that, you can create these at no charge within Exchange Online and then have them be set to either automatically accept meetings based on their availability or to have delegates assigned and people actually managing the time within the infrastructure. Going back to the mail, and at this point I'm going to start talking about some of the different components within the infrastructure as well and how they work in concert with each other. Noting that it is connecting to Exchange, by the way, it is doing that over secure protocols. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that the Outlook or even SharePoint and the link, anytime a user is connecting into our data center, it is done over secure encrypted protocols, TLS, SSL encrypted protocols. So you can be rest assured that the data is not in the clear. And also probably important to note, and I may repeat this multiple times, but your users do not need to be inside your network to get access to this. Since this is a cloud-based service, your users could be anywhere on the Internet. As long as they're on the Internet, they get access to their email infrastructure, to the SharePoint, to the link service, and so on. Definitely that's one of the very powerful functions of being a cloud-based service. You don't have to implement any type of VPN solutions in order to give your end users access to any of this information. So let's kind of look at this email real quick, and I see I've got a thread going on within this email and with a few folks trying to work on a document. And the first thing you may notice is that within the document itself, instead of having an attachment, which of course you can have attachments, but this is actually using a link. And this is a link to a document that's actually stored within the SharePoint Online infrastructure. So when clicking on that, it'll bring up the document in the Word app, the Word web app, or as Todd was talking about the Office, this is one of the Office web apps within the SharePoint infrastructure. So to be able to have one version of the file or one version that everybody is documenting and editing on a shared resource is definitely a powerful collaboration tool within this infrastructure. You'll note, too, that you get the full fidelity of the document, watermarks and tables, all flow through and are viewable within this. And then I can either edit it or open it in Word, which I'll get to in a moment, to actually start manipulating the document. But let's say I've got these people interested in talking about it, this document, and maybe I want to turn this into a meeting, a collaborative meeting, and use the link infrastructure. It's very easy to set this up in that way. Right from this email, I can click reply all with a meeting. So now I've got it set up as a meeting. I can turn around and maybe there's one other person I want to add to this because I think Paul can add some value. And I can go to the scheduling assistant really quick and find a time that actually works for everybody. And I can drag the time around, extend it out, decide what time actually works for everybody, and then go back to the appointment. And then the last thing I want to do, if I want to turn this into a meeting that is going to utilize the link infrastructure, which will give me web conferencing, desktop sharing, application sharing, voice and video over IP, I just need to click this button that shows up on your toolbar, and it'll add the meeting information directly into the schedule request. Quickly and easily. Now when everybody gets this meeting request, they can just click on this and it'll start the link product in meeting mode in a group conversation with everybody in the meeting. So, I mean, this is the dialogue. I don't have everybody else online right now able to join me, but as I mentioned, you can do voice and video with link, so voice and video over IP between two people or multiple people, and the people don't have to be inside your network. They can be anywhere on the Internet. You can do video, as I talked about, as well as voice, and then you can share your desktop, an individual program. You can upload a PowerPoint presentation, and have polls, have whiteboards, all that type of webinar type of functionality that you would expect within the link infrastructure. It's important to note, too, that as an end user, a licensed user, you can actually invite up to 250 attendees. And the attendees don't have to be internal people. They can be internal, but they can also definitely be external people that don't have anybody on the Internet that don't have licenses. And there is they'd get to the invite page, and they'd get the option of using a Link web client or downloading the Link attendee client to be part of it. And speaking real quick about the client, there is actually a Link client that is available to users of Link Online, and that's truly maintaining, that's like the home base of this infrastructure on the desktops. This is where I can have a list of the people I work with every day. I can look at all the activity feeds that may occur between the two, all the past conversations that I've had, or calls, video calls, audio calls, right from within this infrastructure. I can also force a change in my status, but it is important to note that this status, by default, is actually linked to your online Exchange Online calendar. So if you are in a meeting, if you're scheduled for a meeting at that time, it will actually show you as in a meeting. It will not show you in available status. It synchronizes with your calendar. You can, of course, override it, even put yourself in Do Not Disturb if you don't want anybody IMing you. But by default, you can actually, it synchronizes with the calendar, so it's not something you have to manually manage. Something else you may have noticed is that, presence information is real time. It changes. So, I mean, these icons, these little icons are just called, jelly bean is one term for them that we use here. But they change color based on the availability, so you know visually whether that person is available or not at any one time. Another quick note, I added Paul to this, and something else appeared up here, and this is called a mail tip. This is part of Exchange 2010 in concert with Outlook 2010. But it gives me a quick view of an out-of-office response, for example, which is what this is. So I can quickly, before even sending the email, know that Paul is not going to be available, is out of the office for a period of time. And I can choose at this point, just by clicking this, to remove the recipient from this invite. I can push out the date, of course. I can change the date so it works within his time schedule. Since Paul's not going to be here, I can just remove him, and then it's quickly and easily removed without having to, again, send emails and go back and forth. Make that one less step actually will save, some time in a person's workday and keep them focused on what they should be doing. I'll go ahead and click Send on that. So at this point, I'm going to jump and show another way of accessing your email. It's because you're definitely not required to use Outlook. You can use a browser.